Hey, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're going to break down a really simple four-step method that, well, the pros, the top thinkers, use to build these airtight arguments and just make sense of really complex problems. And the cool part, once you see it, you're going to start noticing this hidden framework literally everywhere.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You're facing some big, complex problem. Maybe it's for an exam, a project at work, or hey, even just a debate with a friend. You've got all the facts in front of you, but you're just staring at a blank page thinking, okay, where do I even start? How do I build a logical argument out of all this mess?
Well, what if I told you there's a kind of secret weapon for exactly that? A really simple framework that's like a roadmap for your brain. It guides your thinking from that messy, confusing problem all the way to a sharp, logical conclusion. It's called IRAC. That's IRAC. And it's an acronym for four super simple steps: issue, rule, application, and conclusion. Seriously, you can think of it like a scaffold for your brain, something that helps you build a solid, convincing argument every single time. So let's break it down. All right, so what do these four things actually mean? You're about to see just how simple and intuitive this whole structure really is. Okay, so the real magic here is in the sequence. It's a flow. First, you nail down the core issue. Then you find the governing rule. After that, you apply that rule to the specific facts. And boom, from there, you draw your final conclusion. This is exactly how you turn a jumble of information into a really compelling argument. All right, step one is the issue. And your whole goal here is to boil the entire problem down to one single question. Just for a second, forget all the little details and ask yourself, what's the fundamental dispute we're trying to solve here? Nailing this one question is the foundation for everything that comes next. It's crucial. Next up, you find the rule. Now, this is just the existing principle or law that governs the situation. The key is you're not making anything up here, you're just identifying the established guidelines. And hey, this could be a legal precedent, sure, but it could also be a company policy or even a basic rule of science. And now we get to the application. And listen, this is the heart of the entire process. This is where you do the real work. You're connecting the specific facts of your case to that general rule you just laid out. This step is all about your reasoning, about showing your work, you know? Exactly. This is so important. The analysis or the application, it's not just checking off boxes on a list. It's a debate. You literally have to argue both sides in your head, connect all the dots, and show why the facts fit the rule. This is where the real heavy lifting of critical thinking actually happens. And finally, after all that hard work, you get to state your conclusion. And this should be a short, direct answer to that very first question you asked back in the issue step. And here's the thing. If you've done the analysis part right, the conclusion should just feel, well, inevitable. Okay, theory is great and all, but let's see how IRAC works in the real world. To do that, we're going to look at a classic and honestly kind of strange legal case from way back in the 1800s. It involves two hunters and one very unlucky fox. So here's the scene. Picture this. A hunter, his name is Post, is chasing a fox. He's been on its trail for a while, he's in hot pursuit. But just as he's about to finally catch it, another guy, Pearson, swoops in out of nowhere, kills the fox, and just walks off with it. So the question is really simple. Who actually owns the fox? Okay, now look how perfectly IRAC just organizes this whole mess. The issue is just chasing an animal enough to say you own it. The rule? Well, the court looked at past cases, and the precedent said, no, pursuit alone isn't enough. You need what's called corporal possession, which basically means you have to physically have it in your hands. Now the application. Post was only chasing the fox. He never had it. Pearson was the one who actually captured it. So the conclusion? Therefore, Post didn't have legal possession. Pearson gets the fox. See how clean that is? It just cuts right through the ambiguity. All right, but here's the thing. IRAC isn't just for dusty old law books. The really wild part is that you are already using this exact same logic in your everyday life, probably without even thinking about it. No, really, think about it. The process of deciding if your neighbor is liable for a fallen tree branch follows the exact same mental path as deciding whether or not to bring an umbrella with you. I mean, the details are totally different, of course, but that logical structure, issue, rule, application, conclusion, it's identical. It's like a universal pattern for clear thinking. And that right there is the key takeaway. When you consciously start using IRAC, you're not just learning some trick that lawyers use. You're actually upgrading your own thinking.
You're getting a super powerful tool for clarity and communication that you can use, well, pretty much anywhere.
So, what does this actually give you? Well, for starters, it gives you clarity and structure in your writing. It literally forces your brain to connect the facts to the principles. And maybe most importantly, it helps you build way more persuasive arguments, whether you're sitting in an exam, you're in a business meeting, or, just trying to win an argument over email. So, there you have it. A simple 4-step framework to build a powerful, logical argument right from scratch. You've got the tool now. So the only question left is, what's the first complex problem you're going to tackle with it?